Y'all got to hear this pastor breakdown on why you should not be praying for people or having people pray for you. This is a pastor breaking down the facts again on why you should not be praying for people or having people pray for you. This is the most logical breakdown too, and again, it's from a pastor. Tune in.
Prayer. You know, I was thinking about praying, and that's an interesting thing in and of itself. You know, when you're praying, who the heck is listening? Do you ever think about that? Who's listening? Is there somebody in the ceiling listening? You know, people pray, oh, God, do this. There's these guys on television. Oh, we're claiming this. Oh, my God. Now, who's listening? Now, where is this? Somebody behind the curtains or up in the attic or what? And then, of course, one of the interesting things that you see a lot on TV is you'll see these programs and they'll say, call in for prayer. And the prayer line is open. Now, in addition to that, what I see these folks on television saying, ask Jesus to come into your heart. Say, Jesus, come into your heart. Come into my heart. But you know, there's a funny thing. Because when I check the Bible, I just want to make sure these people are right. And I find out, to my amazement, that they're wrong. In John 16:23, Jesus says, and in that day you shall ask me for nothing. Now, why are you told as a Christian to ask Jesus to come into your heart when Jesus himself says, at that time you will ask me for nothing? Well, what's going on here? I mean, should you ask him or shouldn't you? He says don't ask him. The church says ask him. So who are you going to believe? Most people will follow the church. Jesus says, at that time you shall ask me for nothing. And then he says something else about prayer. He says in John 16:26 and 27 that I say not to you that I will pray for you. Isn't that interesting? Here's Jesus saying, I'm not going to pray for you. You go to the church, say, oh, will you pray for me? I say, yes, I'll pray for you. And the priest says, I'll pray for you. And the minister says, I'll pray for you. Says, I'll pray for you in your Bible study, I'll pray for you. But you go up to Jesus and say, will you pray for me? He says, no way. No way. I'm not going to pray for you. What do you do with that? Why wouldn't Jesus pray for you and all these other people are going to pray for you? What's going on here? The point was that Jesus says the reason I'm not going to pray for you is because the Father himself loves you. In other words, you don't need... Excuse me. Drop the microphone. You don't need anybody to pray for you. You shouldn't have anybody to pray for. Because if you got people praying for you, that's stopping you from going directly to God who is within you. You see, the higher mind, that's really the part of you that is God. There is a part in you that is God. That's the higher consciousness. That's the Father. And if you go to somebody to pray for you, they're going to recite a lot of words, and that's going to keep you from going up into the higher place yourself. You don't need anybody to pray for you. If Jesus says he wouldn't pray for you, what are you going to somebody else for?
Exactly.
I mean, Jesus is saying go directly to God. And he says the kingdom is within you. That means God is within you. That means that if you will rise up into the higher consciousnness, if you will set yourself into profound meditation and go up into the higher consciousness, you'll be delivered of the problem that you have. Isn't, you know, that's real. I think it's a great thing. Really is. And how do people that are these Bible scholars square with that? I mean, if you say you're supposed to ask Jesus to come into your heart, but yet Jesus himself says, don't ask me for anything. Now, who's right? I'm going to stick with Jesus. Don't ask him.
Facts.
What about praying? He says, I'm not going to pray for you. So if he's not going to pray for you, what the heck you having somebody that's lesser than him pray for you? I say, you don't need nobody to pray for you. And the reason is because Jesus was trying to turn your attention away from him. He was trying to turn your attention away from man. And he was trying to turn your attention inwardly so that you could go